So, hello everyone. Today I wanted to take this opportunity to discuss housing and what the process is like is at the University of California, Berkeley. While the deadline for freshman applications will be closing soon, I believe that the decisions are definitely still out there for transfers as well as for a waitlisted students. So let me take this opportunity. I did find the housing situation to be very complicated. UC Berkeley is smack in the middle of one of the most difficult property markets in the US, one of the most expensive property markets in the US. And I wanted to take this opportunity just to explain the housing situation properly, what the process is like, what to expect. Because as an entering freshman, I found that some of this info was quite difficult to get. Some of it we couldn't actually get until we were going through the housing application itself. So I think it is worthwhile to go through it all. So if you go to housing.berkeley.edu and you click that I am an undergraduate student, you will see these options. Living on campus with on the dorms itself, you'll have a few options. Now it does say living on campus housing by myself or with roommates. First of all, I'm going to say that living by yourself is not really an option. While it's not technically impossible, it is basically 99% certain that you will not be getting a single room. Berkeley does have a few single rooms, but just because of how tough it is, it's not even confirmed you will get a double room. It says that basically getting a single room is for seniors, the ones that are lucky enough to get housing, or people with special accommodations. So expect to at least live in a room with at least one other roommate, or with possibly 2 or 3 other roommates. Do note that the doubles, triples, and the quads all share the same amount of space. And the room itself is the same. It's just that they use bunk beds in order to accommodate more things. So, but the price is definitely cheaper if you make it a triple or quad room. And there is also the difference of a suite. I will just pull up the pricing information here. So the suites are quite similar in terms of the rooms themselves, but instead of exiting into the hallway, you will exit into a sort of apartment with its own living room, dining room, and you'll only be sharing toilets with a few other units instead of the whole floor. So it's definitely more of an apartment feel, but they are also a couple $1,000s more expensive. And finally, you'll see here that Blackwell Hall is a little more expensive than the rest. That's because it's the newest unit out of these all. It is also the only one with a different layout. All the other ones share a very similar layout. Blackwell is slightly larger. Not that the previous units are any bad. Unit 3, I hear, was also renovated pretty recently. I have heard some bad things about Stern. This Stern is the women's only campus, is the women's only hall, I'm sorry, at UC Berkeley. But I will pull up the map here just to show you the difference. Most of them are pretty close to the central campus. You'll see that Blackwell Unit 1 and Unit 3 are the closest. Unit 2 is a little farther away, but it's only a difference of 2 blocks, sorry. Clark Kerr is the furthest away. It's at a different side of the campus. And Foothill and Stern are together in the northeast corner of the campus. But none of them are particularly close to the BART station. You'll all have to walk a little bit. So yeah. It depends on where you're taking your classes. For freshmen and so for entering freshmen, there won't really be much of a difference. You will have to be running all around campus because you will be taking a wide variety of classes anyway. So with the exception of Clark Kerr, I don't think it really matters where you stay. Other than that, this is footage that you will probably be seeing for the first time. I will now show you live footage of me going through the application itself, the application page, all of the info that's asked. I will of course be throwing out my personal information, but yeah, I will be guiding you through the application. I do have quite a lot to say, but that's a little bit later on. For this first part, I will just be playing a little bit of music, and then I'll take you through the application step by step. So on this page, what you are going to be answering is you're going to be ranking your top 5 choices for housing. Berkeley does advise it for your last spot that you should pick anywhere, any room size. But other than that, you're pretty free to choose which dorm you want, what kind of room you want, whether you want it in a suite or not. It's in one massive list. Pick your choices wisely. So you may or may not get the choices that you want. The ones that have a bracket P means that they are advised. They're reserved for seniors as well as for people with accommodations. So you are much less likely to get them if you are not someone who qualifies for that. So yeah, I will not be showing you what are my 5 choices for privacy reasons, so we'll skip ahead to the next part. So on this next page, you're just answering a few questions about your living habits, I guess. Whether you mind sharing a room with someone who smokes. You won't be allowed to smoke inside the room itself, but I guess it is a little bit of personal preference. Also, whether you what time you sleep and what time you go to bed. These are to pair you up with a roommate in case you don't have a roommate yet, or you get a room with more people inside of it than you originally wanted. This is how they will make sure that they will try to at least pair you up with someone with similar living habits. And then on the next part, you're just basically answering a few questions about whether you consider yourself a person of color or an aspiring ally to a person of color. That will be in case you need to, whether you mind living in a theme program, which I'll explain later, whether you consider yourself a member of the LGBT community, and whether you mind living with someone who might need assistance from a service animal. So now we get to theme programs. Theme programs are basically communities inside your residential halls. They're sponsored by an academic department, and they basically allow students to live with people who share a similar background or academic interest inside these certain halls, certain floors, I believe, or certain buildings that they have designated. You can just not apply to a theme program at all if you don't need to. Or if you don't feel like it. I'm not sure exactly what the experience is like if you go through a theme program, so you probably do want to ask an actual UC Berkeley student about that. For me, I didn't apply to any theme programs because I didn't feel like I fit into any one of them. And finally, on the next page, you'll basically be requesting a roommate. If you already have a roommate in mind, maybe your friend or maybe someone you met online, you can add them through their student ID here. I will not be showing you my roommate's student ID for privacy reasons, of course. Or you can just search based on match. Some of those questions you answered earlier will help you to choose a suitable roommate, I guess. Or you can just leave it up randomly, I believe. So in terms of requesting roommates, if you already have a roommate in mind, you want to have a leader or the group leader as well as the members. The members, they will receive a notification when the leader invites them. And as long as they accept, you all should receive a room together. It seems very unlikely that they would not give you the roommate that you request. But you do need to be sure that your friend accepts the invitation to be in your group. You probably want to check your email for that. They will send you a notification if that happens, once that happens. And finally, on this last page, you will basically be explaining to Berkeley if you need any special accommodations, such as an all-men's floor suite, an all-men's floor or an all-men's suite, an all-women's floor and all-men's suite based on religious or cultural beliefs, whether you will need additional space for prayers, whether you will need a housing location that's close to a place of worship, whether you'll need a semi-private bathroom based on religious or cultural beliefs, or even if you're a member of the LGBTQ community, or yes, I saw this yesterday, whether you will need a space, a room that can accommodate an extra freezer or refrigerator. I'm not sure what you would need, but okay. After you complete this part of your application, you will be asked for a $35 application fee. I believe you can pay with a credit card. So yeah, that is all. That is pretty much all for this episode. I hope that you understand UC Berkeley housing a bit more now that you've watched this video. I went into this process completely blind, and I had to ask around a lot online. I had to look in a lot of different places for this information. So I hope that having it all in a single resource will make the process a little easier for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.